All right, so I've got two topics to share tonight. And I kind of wanted to give you your choice on which you wanted to hear first. I'm going to be talking a little bit about the new Get Involved app, which is indexing 2.0, and specifically around the 1950 US Census. And I'm also going to talk about the Family History Library Catalog. So.
Get involved.
Get involved. All right.
Because there is such a big push on the 1950 census right now.
Yes, exactly right. Okay, well, let me go ahead and share my screen and let me come over here to Family Search. So I am on familysearch.org. I'm kind of moving my mouse around up here. And from the home page, you can actually, it tells you, help unlock the census for everyone. So why is the 1950 census so exciting to us in this day and age?
I'm in it.
You're in it. All right. That's awesome. So we may know people that are in that census, right? Brother Hauser's in it. My mom's in it. My grandma's in it. People I knew are in the census, and it gets us one generation closer. Now, the 1950 census is exciting also for a number of reasons. It was the first census to ever be tabulated by computer. And so that sparked the imagination of the people at Ancestry.com and FamilySearch.com. And they said, wouldn't it be nice if we could speed up the process of getting the 1950 census indexed? And so over the past few years, they have been investing in something called machine learning and artificial intelligence. They are essentially teaching computers how to read handwriting, how to recognize names and relationships, and do the hard work of indexing for us. Now, they're not perfect at it because they're only as good as their programming, but the 1950 census is going to be different than before. We're not going to have to, at least at first, we're not going to have to sit and transcribe line by line all the names, the dates, the places, the relationships. They're just focusing right now on indexing the names. And so if you notice, the word indexing is completely gone now on Family Search, at least on the title bar. What does it say instead?
Get involved.
Get involved. That's right. And so when we go to get involved, there's overview. What is get involved? My opportunities. Indexing is still there. If you love traditional indexing, it's still necessary because digital images of records aren't searchable until they're indexed. But we're going to speed things up a little bit with the 1950 US Census. So get involved. You can see what opportunities there are and how it works. So instead of typing words, it's going to say, I think this word is Angela. Is this Angela? And if you say yes, that the machine did it correctly, you can say yes or no or skip. Or you can edit it. So it's meant to really allow you to review more than index. How many of you have ever done reviewing through the traditional indexing program?
Yep, I have.
Okay, so Sister Johnson, what is the purpose of reviewing?
To correct mistakes that other people might have made, or things if they had trouble reading the handwriting, two eyes and two sets of eyes are better than one.
Yeah, exactly right. And that's all that we're doing now in this case. The machine does the first pass and we're going to review it. And by doing that, we're going to speed this process up dramatically. Now, the other exciting thing is you don't have to do this on your computer. You can do this on your phone. Because you're just reviewing, there's an app for that. And so you can get it on either Google Android or on Apple devices. And even my husband will do this, because for years he said, I'm not going to index until I can do it on my phone. So I was really happy a couple months ago to say, hey, honey, go download the Get Involved app and you can do this on your phone. Now, unfortunately, I don't have a way to hook my phone up to the computer. So if someone does and wants to show that to us, it's really straightforward. The records that are available right now on the app are Spanish baptismal records, Spanish name records from the last 500 years, and they're starting to drop the 1950 US Census. Oh, the other exciting thing about the 1950 US Census is this is the first one that was available digitally on April 1st. Before, people would have to, get copies and scan them and then upload the files. It's all done. All Family Search and Ancestry had to do was download it from the US, from the census site, apply the machine learning to it, and we have hundreds of records now that are ready to go and index, thousands. They're dropping across all the different states. In fact, if we go to unlock the US Census, there's even a census map that will start to show you progress. Now it's still early days, but we're going to get to see as each area becomes available to index and to select. Okay. So now I can show you how Get Involved works on the computer. It's pretty much the same as on your phone. The interface is just a little bit differently. Indexed by computers, reviewed by people. And you can pick your state. Before we could do some limited things, their vision is that you can eventually focus in on a family name or on a specific locality and do all the indexing. So, when this becomes available, when Wisconsin drops, I might be able to focus in on Luck, Wisconsin, a town of about 1,800 people where my family live, and index records for that, for that state. Right now, these are the ones, and here's about the percentage that they've done. So they're in, the 50s in Idaho and Nevada. They're 25 to 50% in these other states. That's what they've gotten so far. If you don't want to choose anything, you can just say, I'm just going to go and get started. So I want to review names. I can review just the header information. I can review families. So there's different ways for you to get involved with indexing based on what you're interested in. So let's review names. Now, on your app, state is not required. For some reason, it's required here. So fine, Florida. And says there's an issue with birthplaces on the image. They're working to fix it. They know they've got some bugs. Okay, so you didn't, okay, there you go. You can choose how many names you want to do at a time. If you want to index 3 names, that's all you do. And instead of having to return that batch and lose credit for the work you have done, you get credit for those 3 names, and then the next set of names just goes to whoever's next in the queue. So here, I'm going to enlarge this a little bit. It thinks the given name is Dan. If I agree that yes, the given name is Dan, I'll click match. If I don't agree, I can edit, or I can say I'm not sure. So I'm going to say yes, that's a match. And then it says, given name.
Okay, just a minute.
Oh,
To
sure.
me, that the name looks like Dave to me.
Okay.
not Dan.
All right. So I'm going to go back. went back too far. I'm more familiar with the app. On the app, you can go back easily. Apparently I missed the state here. Now, my favorite one in the 1950 census that I found so far is no one at home. The computer keeps trying to make no one into a first name and at home into a last name. Okay, this one is vacant. So, you know, I can just say, yeah, they just have a little dash there. There's nothing to index. Yep, match. Now here they're like, given name is vacant. No, vacant. And submit.
Rachel,
And so, yes,
go down to where it says not a person.
not a person. Oh, there we go. Cool. I didn't even see that.
I didn't either for a few weeks, a few days anyway. But if you click on that,
And so all of this is also teaching the computer. It's teaching me too. This is awesome.
on some of them, it gives you a drop down thing that says, why do you want to skip this household or something? And then it says no one home or vacant, wrong information entered, blah, blah, blah. There are 3 or 4 choices and you just choose vacant or no one home.
Exactly. Okay, that's cool. That's good to know.
And Rachel,
Mm-hmm.
I can also answer Candy's question about she thought it looked like Dave, which I wondered too if that was Dave.
Mm-hmm.
At least on the app, it at the very beginning, it said, and don't worry if you said Dave and it was really Dan or vice versa. You're not the only one that looks at it.
Mm-hmm. So
They've
they're
told us-
doing us in pairs then. They're having 2 people at least review it.
They're having multiple people looking at it. So,
Awesome.
yeah.
I like it. Just like, you know, with indexing and reviewing, you had those 2 sets of eyes. We're going to have the multiple sets of eyes on this as well.
Yep.
I like it. All right. So this one says it's, I have no idea what this name is. So I'm going to say I'm unsure. I don't really know. I can't, that doesn't really look like a C to me.
It does.
It's like, that looks like Ward, W-A-R-D. And I don't know. So you know what? I'm unsure. Okay. M-A-C-H-A-L-M. I think that's what I'm seeing in that. Michael M, or in this case, a daughter. You notice they crossed out son? Because they probably said, yeah, this is Michael. And they wrote down, you know, son, and it's like, no, it's a daughter. That happened to my great uncle. His name was Alma. And he's written as a male daughter in one of his census records because they thought Alma was a girl.
Hey,
So
2022, it could be.
there you go. All right, so that looks like a C. So they're saying it's Buckbinger.
Oh, no.
Some of you get good handwriting, some of you don't.
I say Bubba.
Bubba. It's like B-U-C-H. It looks like Buckbinger, but it could be Linger. That could be an L. What do you guys think? Shall I match it or edit it?
I'm not going to prove any of them.
Unsure.
Yep, unsure. And when you have a better internet connection, about this time of night is when my internet connection goes really slow because everyone's getting home from work and getting on the internet in this area. All right, so this is Gertrude. Now, to me, it looks like Gertrude F.
Yeah.
So I'm
Yeah.
going to edit this. I'm going to say it's Gertrude F.
If you look down the line to female, the F is made the same way.
Good point. Exactly, because you can look at it and say, okay, I know that that's probably a W, that's probably an F, that's an M, that's a D. I don't know what I just did, but apparently they didn't like me doing that. So now let's say that I'm done. Okay, I'm done. All right, I got 15 in. And when you finish your batch of 20, it's going to say, you want to do 20 more? Do you want to do 50 more? You know, at least on the app. And again, like I said, I'm more familiar with on the app, because when I'm sitting waiting for kids, it's not uncommon for me to pull this up and do a couple of batches, because it's that, or I can, you know, read or watch YouTube. But this is the new Get Involved process. And I would encourage each of you to take some time and give it a try. It's in its infancy. And so if you have feedback to make it better, you can submit that feedback and say, hey, it would be great if I could do X. Like, and I didn't really even notice before about, you know, what Sister Johnson pointed out about the not a person. It's like, that's great. Yes, exactly. It's not a person, no one at home. And then eventually, as they learn it, they can just skip those records, because they'll recognize that vacant or no one at home means it's not a person, and they can just move on to other names and speed up the process. All right. And so you can read about the latest project updates and get answers to frequently asked questions. You can. Now, this is the video that I saw where they were talking about the artificial intelligence and learning. If you have time to watch it, this is from Roots Tech. And I got really excited because I'm a tech geek. Sometimes I work for a technology company, and it's exciting to see this kind of application of those tools to help speed up, you know, the 151 million records we've got to go, 151 million names we have to index from the 1950 US Census. And then they've got frequently asked questions. You know, how can I know when a state I want to help with is launched? You can visit the update section or the project details page, or watch your email. Is it true that we're not using the Family Search Indexing Program to review the index? That's correct. Get Involved is a review tool. That's the new tool that they're going to be using for this. Can I review a specific or county or state? Right now, you can do a state and or a surname. They're going to eventually get to county level. They're not there yet. Can I review an entire page? You can choose to go on to the next family on the same page if you're doing it by family. And if they've already been reviews, you can skip them. So sometimes that's why you skip around, is people were looking for the Pilgrim family, you know, or the Hauser family, or the Grisso family. And, you know, that family may already be done. And so you'll just skip them on the page. Will the work I do be added to my indexing statistics? So for those of you who are very numbers driven, yes, they're tracked separately, but you can see how much you do of a specific activity. So it will keep track of your names and your trends, just like it does in indexing. And as I said, if you still want to index, our beloved page is still there, where you can go through, you can find a batch and index it just like you did a month ago. So you can find a project and get going. You can index or review. So you have a number of ways to get involved with family history. All right.
May I ask a question?
Absolutely.
Okay, this is back on the no one at home. I was doing some work last night on my phone and ran across that, and I noticed on the ones that I was doing, it would have no one at home, and then in parentheses, the last names of the people, I guess, whom they thought lived there. Is that correct, or who do live there? Or should we just ignore that?
Yeah, that's a really good question, because I haven't seen that. I would probably ask that question. Now, what I did, I know, like a lot of times when you have that dash, which means they're the same name as the person in front of it, instead of just leaving it as a dash, I would actually type out the name. I don't know if that was correct or not, but that's what I was doing. You know, when they would have like Williams, and then underneath it, they would just have the dash.
Right. So you would add that last name Williams to every one of them?
That's what I've been doing. I just don't
Makes
know if it's
sense.
correct or not.
Yeah, it makes sense. It does.
Yeah.
But the
Yeah.
ones I saw, it was in parentheses, you know, what the no one at home, and then they would have parentheses and a last name. And that's, you know, I guess we just ignore that because I guess for all we know, the people moved. Is we don't know if they
Right.
were really living there. Okay.
Right. Yeah. I would ignore that one. But it would be a good question to ask to submit and get some feedback. The one thing I miss, and maybe I just haven't seen it in the app, are the project instructions that kind of tell you what to do in those cases. I haven't seen anything like that in the app or on the website when I index, but let me go back in and let me see. Let me try it. I want to try to get involved. Okay. Oh, volunteer where you are. Okay, fine. I'll go back up here to the census, see ways to help. And get started. Try Florida again, because I know it had stuff. Now, were you working on a specific name, or were you just doing a general state?
First, I went to Tennessee, which, by the way, I noticed on the map here on the website shows not available, but on the app, it is one of the states that you can choose. And, you know, there's about maybe 12 or 15 states, and Tennessee is one of them. And then I did go with the specific name to start with because I didn't know what I was doing. And once I did that family, you know, who were listed just like this, then it just went to the next name. It just started right there with the name I put in and just kept on going with the names that were on the page. It did not skip to that next name every time.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Interesting. Yeah, that does. Interesting. And yeah, I'll have to just keep playing around with it. And I was trying to figure out if I could find some project instructions, and they don't seem to have any that I can see on the page. I see not a person and transcription error. I'm not sure when I would use that. And handwriting examples, but that's your kind of standard indexing handwriting examples. And
I noticed here on the website, the not a person is over here to the right. On the iPhone, it is a little flag just above match, edit, and unsure. Just above unsure, it's a little flag, and you click the flag, and then you have the option of not a person and transcription error.
oh, okay.
So don't ignore that little flag if you don't think it's a person.
Awesome. All right. I've learned something new. I'm so glad. I got it. Unfortunately, an error occurred. Of course it did, because, you know, why not? On the app on my phone. But yeah, I will look for that. That's awesome. Oh, there's the flag. I see the flag. Flag is not a person. Okay, I have learned something new. I'm loving it. All right, I'm going to go ahead and exit out of here, just being mindful of time. So yeah, I would definitely encourage everyone to give this a try. And then let's go ahead now and switch gears kind of abruptly, and let's talk a little bit about the Family History Library catalog. Now, back in the day, I actually studied to be a librarian, and I have my library degree. And so I got to learn all about, you know, the catalog functions here. I'm going to move this over so I can see everybody again. But what is the purpose of a library catalog?
Help you find what's in the library.
Help you find what's in the library. Exactly. It's basically an inventory of what the library has. So I found that I love the online resources that we have with Family Search, with Ancestry, all the digital records, everything that's indexed. But what are some examples of when you would need to find something that was not in Family Search records? or when you might need to use a catalog.
Maybe to find out what records the church has in a certain area, a certain county of the state.
Exactly right. The other thing too is not every record is digitized and not every record is indexed. And I'm not going to talk a lot about the digital records available through the catalog, because I think Sister Johnson, you mentioned that the next session is about the Family History Digital Library.
That's right.
Okay, so I'm not going to get into that. So I'm talking good old fashioned books and maps and atlases and magazines and those sorts of items. Sometimes we hit dead ends in our research. I was working on one just this week where I have a good record of this man and his wife and his children, but I can't find anything on his parents. He's listed as a grandson on one of the census records, so I know the grandparents, and I know the person, but I'm missing that generation in between, and I can't find any records in Family Search to help me bridge that gap. But I know the area, and I know the name. And so one of the things that I can do is I can search and see, are there printed books in the catalog that might help me bridge that gap? This is the way we used to do things back in the day before the internet, before Family Search and everything was digital. Back in the day, as my seminary students used to tell me, last millennium, Sister Pilgrim. Yes, last millennium. Back in the 1990s and 1980s, when I first started doing family history research. So catalogs can help us find printed material that can help us in our family history journey. And so the Family Search catalog, again, I got to it by going to search and then catalog, and that takes me here. I can search by a place. I can search by a name. I can search by titles of books. Maybe I know that there's a book somewhere called The Pilgrim Family History. I could search to see if the church has that title. I can search by an author name if I know somebody in my family published a book. I can search by a subject like pioneer or settlers or Mayflower pilgrims. I can search by a subject or by a keyword. I can also do combinations. I can search also by a call number or by the microfilm or microfiche number as well. So what I'd like is I can search any is the default, and it will give you both the digital resources, which you'll learn about later, or what I was excited to see, resources by a specific family history center. So Sister Johnson, you mentioned one of the purposes of a catalog is to list the holdings of that particular library. So I would like to see, it defaults obviously to the family history library, 5 floors or more of books and magazines and publications, but then it lists various affiliate libraries and family history centers, including, and now I taught this last night in my home state, my home ward here, and we're in the Gilmer, Texas state. I did giggle to see that Gilmer is not listed, even though they have a family history library. So I said, fine, let me see if Hearst is represented. And lo and behold, here's the Hearst, Texas Family History Center. So I'm not going to put in any search criteria because I'd like to see everything the Family History Center has. And it's going to think, because my internet's really slow tonight. And if I remember correctly, the family, oh, killing me. You're killing me, internet. I killed my internet. It must, yes, it's 7:30. Yes, it's time for my internet to go offline. One moment. let me go and get it up and running on my iPhone because, you know, this is just what I get to do. All right, let's try to connect it again. What's interesting is it hasn't dropped me out of Zoom or anything, but we have a Wi-Fi booster that occasionally stops boosting. All right, killing me, Smalls. In the Hearst, Texas Family History Library, there are 5,862 items available for our research. Did you know you had that much, Sister Johnson?
Well, I know there's a lot there.
There is a lot there. Now, this is a combination of microfilm, microfiche, and physical records. I'm assuming that we've got some books and things that are there, but I would assume the majority of the collection is microfilm or microfiche. And so here I can start to refine it. I want to see everything from the year 1400 or the year 1500 or 1600. Ooh, there's 190 sources from the year 1600. And it's kind of a interesting mix. We've got Bishop's transcripts for Beaumont, which is in the Church of England, for Bewcastle and Boltby. Somebody did a lot of English research and ordered a lot of English film, I would assume. So we've got Bishop's transcripts. We've got an abstract of North Carolina wills. Was that you? He dropped off. I was going to say, was that Brother Hauser for North Carolina? And so there's a lot of things. So I can narrow it down.
Nope,
I only
not
want things
me.
that are in Danish. It's not you?
Nope, not me.
All right. So you can narrow down the results to see what they have. You can look at it by category, by availability, by language. I'm going to go back to English. Or I can clear my selection with the little X there. I'm going to clear my selection. I don't think I'm going to keep it in English just because. And here I can start searching other categories. So let's say I want to search for keyword pioneer. Okay, we have 79 resources in our family history library on pioneers. There's an index to the Mormon Pioneer Genealogy Library. There's the Cedar Valley Pioneers, records of the handcart pioneers, and then we start getting into specific family records. And here again, the categories can help narrow it down. Let's say that I want to look at histories, memories, and stories. Okay, there's 27 results. And I can see if any of those are applicable to me. Or I can reset and I can go back to a more general search for any library. So let's say that I'm interested in the keyword. Now I'm going to teach you some kind of fun little search tricks. I put the name Tunis Van Pelt within quotation marks. Does anyone know why I did that?
Exactly.
Because you wanted to find that exact string.
Exactly, for that exact string or phrase, because if I didn't put the quotes, it would return anything that had Tunis, Van, or Pelt in it. So I get a much more targeted search if I look for a full name in quotes. Now, I'm going to use a Boolean operator. Those are fun, fancy words. Boolean operators will help you combine search terms. So I can combine Tunis Van Pelt and Long Island. So I'm looking for records that have those two exact strings together. If I used the term or, I would get a very different set of results. Because it would say, show me this one or this one, but I want and. So you can start getting real fancy in the keyword section. Okay. Now this is, I have one. That's interesting.
Interesting.
Yeah, a collection of important and interesting criminal trials. I'm intrigued. I want to see more. From the beginning of our government to the present day. And so it should show me here highlighted the phrase that I was looking for. It should have Tunis, Van Pelt, and Long Island. Now, I haven't found it yet, because of course it's going to make it difficult for me while I'm displaying this. But there's 17 volumes of this. Sorry, I know I'm going a little fast here. Just going to get back up to the top.
Yeah, I didn't see it highlighted.
Yeah,
What
I
if
didn't
you
see it either.
Do
So
a
let me go.
control F, a control
Oh,
F and do a.
Yeah, exactly. So let me look for. There you go. Ooh, the trial of Tunis Van Pelt for bigamy, New York City, 1816.
No, say it.
Ah,
So,
that
oh
dude,
my
man.
goodness.
Now, is this a
Scandal.
relative?
Yes, but unfortunately, my Tunis Van Pelt came over from the Netherlands to Long Island in 1660. So chances are this isn't him, but it's probably one of his descendants.
Yeah.
Oh, bless their heart. Yeah, I found my first murderer in my family history tree the other day. It was like, they were like, it was an article that somebody had pasted next to the find a grave, and it was for the murder trial. It was like, oh gosh. Okay, well, let me just tuck that away. All right, I'm going to go back. That's funny. That is so funny. Because he was also known as Tunis the Fisherman. So I'm going to come back to the catalog and I'm going to search for a subject. Let's see, keyword. I'm going to look for Tunis the Fisherman. Why he was called Tunis the Fisherman? I assume his name was Tunis and he was a fisherman. Well, it's thinking. It hasn't hacked up a cat hairball yet. But it's close. Yep, no results found. Okay, so I'm going to do just Tunis Van Pelt. Let's see what other interesting stuff I can dig up on my family. But isn't this why we do family history? They're fascinating people. Oh, yep. Okay, apparently all we have is now I wonder no, it's any. I was going to say I'm not searching for a specific family history one. Okay, so let me take out keyword. Let me change it to subject, or actually let me do name. Surname, I'm going to look for Van Pelt. And again, I'm putting in the quotes because it's 2 words. And if I don't, it's going to give me all the Vans and all the Pelts and then all the Van Pelts. So I'm going to search for surname, and I'm going to search in a place, Long Island. Now, this is just a cataloging nuance. The one thing that makes me crazy is it's an exact reverse order of our standardized names or standardized places that we do for filling out our family tree. So instead of city, county, state, and country, it's country, state, county, or area. So it drives me a little bit nuts, but all right. So I'm looking for Van Pelts in the United States, and I could look, let's say, at the Family History Center, the Family History Library, because I'm going to be going to Salt Lake soon, and I want to see if they have any books I might like to check. You're killing me, Smalls. Okay, I'm going to try just Van Pelts. All right, yay, 47. So it gives me the genealogy of the family of Longstreet with its related families, including the Van Pelts. Okay, that's awesome. Surname Lannon Van Pelt. That's one of my names from my family history, but it's not Tunis, so I'm not going to worry about that one too much. So descendants of someone from Scotland, no. Let's see. Actually, I'm gonna change the place to just New York. I'm gonna take Long Island off. I'm just gonna see. I just want New York. There we go. Oh, you're killing me. All right. So apparently people don't write books about my family unless they're bigamists. All right, I'm going to now check my grandfather's surname, Hoffland, because if I checked my maiden name of Williams, yeah, we'd be here all day. Okay, so very interesting. There's 4 in the Family History Library. Now he's from the Netherlands, and this looks very non-Netherlands. This looks very Scandinavian. That looks very Scandinavian. This looks very South African, and that definitely is not the Netherlands. So, okay. But you can see how I'm eliminating things, I'm finding things. I can put this in my research log to say, as far as I know, the Family History Library does not have books on my Van Pelt ancestor that I'm interested in, or my Hofland ancestor. Now, I can also look for subjects. And this was kind of a fun one. We did this last night, except I think we might have done it under place. So there's Texas, Gilmer, and Upshur County. Yep, that's our Gilmer. So there's a history of the early settlers of the Kelsey, Enoch, and Gilmer branches of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Interesting. Kelsey is the oldest continually existing Latter-day Saint settlement in the South. There's a huge cemetery out here with all sorts of Salt Lake temples carved on headstones, and it's the Kelsey Cemetery. Gilmer and Kelsey were, and Pinewood were a big settlement. That's why we have a stake in Gilmer, even though it's a town of 4,000 people in Texas. We have a stake with 4 wards, actually. But I could say, okay, great. So this is a book. It's a physical book. It's in English. I've got the call number for this. It looks like it would give me a lot of good history on people that are members of the church in this area, if that's what I was looking for. It gives me some more subjects to look through. I could look for Kelsey, Enoch, or Gilmer for histories. It's also in the Library of Congress subjects under Mormons, Texas history, and Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints history. So cool. And it tells me it's at the Family History Library. It's on the 3rd floor, and it is available. This is another important thing, especially if you're planning a trip to go to the Family History Library. You can check before you go to see what books you might want to look at and if they're available. Sometimes this says they're lost. So they're part of the catalog, but they've been lost. Sometimes they're back for repair. So if you were planning a big trip and the one book you needed was not there, that could help you make a decision on whether or not that trip was still timely. The other thing.
Rachel?
Uh-huh.
Now, I did see you can check for other locations, but one thing I haven't seen, does it say if it is available digitally?
Very good. If it was available digitally, it would actually say it on this record.
Okay.
So let me give you an example of one that we found. Let's see, subjects. For place, was it this one? Fulton, California. Okay. I'm pretty sure some of these, when I looked at them yesterday, like these two were not available digitally, but if they are available digitally, it'll actually tell you this book is available digitally.
Okay.
And it would let you let me update this. All right. So I want to see, because I don't think it shows you on this view if it's digital, which is a shame. It should. Let me see if that's okay. So here are the film notes. This one I don't think is digital, but there's a lot of film. But it would actually say that under the notes that it's available digitally.
Okay,
if you could view it online. And I don't want to steal the thunder of the next lesson.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. So, and if you were looking for digital searches, you could actually say, I just want to see things that are online.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. And so if I wanted to see a surname of, this one should bring up something. Okay. So there's the Cano family. And to view a digital version, click here. If there was a
Okay.
digital version of something you searched, it would actually show it under the notes. And it would also tell you where you can find it in the library. Now, the other, let me go back a little bit to, let's see, where's my Gilmer one? The other thing that you want to look for in records is maybe you say, okay, the family history library is too far away. Is there something closer? Now, for this one, I know there's not, but there's a program called WorldCat, which is a worldwide catalog. And it will show you if a title you're interested in is available at a different library. And yes, I want to accept all my cookies. And it says, I want to know where you're at. And so I'm going to find libraries. Okay, for this one, the only place is the Family History Library in Salt Lake City. But you might find it at the Dallas Public Library, the Fort Worth Public Library, the Grapevine Public Library has a huge genealogy collection. The Euless Public Library has a genealogy collection. And a lot of these libraries are what they call affiliate libraries for the Family History Library. And when they're affiliate libraries, they also can search some of the databases. And Sister Johnson, correct me where I'm going wrong on this, but I think they get a lot of the same privileges as a family history center would if they're an affiliate library.
That's correct.
Yeah. And so I'm in the Quitman ward. The Quitman Public Library is an affiliate library, which is nice. So I've got one 15 miles away from me. So I don't have to go all the way to Dallas or all the way to Longview or Tyler. I can find other things. And so let me come back to the catalog and let me see if I can find one that is, so I'm going to search for subject. Now, this one should come up, Mayflower. I know that this one will have some WorldCat stuffs. So let's see, Mayflower, General Society of Mayflower Descendants, directories. Let's look at the ship one. The Brewster genealogy. Oh, genealogist notebook. Let's see if that one's in WorldCat. So this is a serial. Let's see. For Mayflower. No, it's not. This is the problem of doing stuff live. Is sometimes you find it. History and genealogy of Mayflower planters and first comers to Ye Olde Colony. Aha, this one has a digital version. And so we could, and it'll take a while because it's a big book. So while it's doing that, I can view WorldCat to see if there's another copy in another location. Oh, I'm making it think tonight. Okay, so there goes my internet again. Yep. No, it's still connected. Okay. This is usually the, yeah, okay. Well, let's try something different. So this is in the Family History Library. Ooh, this is a good status. Offsite storage. So they have a copy in offsite storage. So if you need volume 2, copy 2, you can't get it. The other ones are all available. It's also available on microfiche to order at your local family history library, family history center. Let me try WorldCat again. Nope. Okay, it does not want to bring it up. So I'm on my limited internet right now. So any questions about the family history catalog? Again, there's a lot to it. This is especially helpful if you're going to a specific library and you want to make sure they have what you need before you go. You can check those resources. And then the next session, you're going to learn about how to get some of those resources online, because there's 500,000 of these resources that are available in digital form. They're not indexed, but they are searchable, and they are available to you in the comfort of your own home to help you further your genealogy research. So mindful of time, I know we've got about 5 minutes left. What questions can I answer?
No question, but that was amazing. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Thank you guys for participating. And
I
good
will
luck with this. This is, I'm
I
sorry.
will second the amazing comment, because I've used the catalog before, but I just found out there's a whole heck of a lot more. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, there's so much. You think of just 5 floors full of books and resources, and and then they're in the process of digitizing a lot of this, but there's nothing like good old fashioned, holding a book in your hand and being able to find something out about your family. So awesome. All right, well then I will turn the time back over to Sister Johnson. Thank you all so much.
Okay, thank you. That was really good. We used to use the catalog all the time before, I guess, before Family Search started doing such a good job getting the records available.
Yeah, exactly, because we would have to search it to see if they had the microfilm people wanted, or the microfilm.
Right.
To see if there was a way we could get that record in our area.
That's right. And they don't check out films, and I don't know if they check out microfiche anymore. I haven't seen anybody do that in a long time. But the library doesn't check out films anymore, because I think they have theoretically put everything online that isn't copyrighted.
Correct.
They've been working on that for many years, getting that
Exactly.
done. Yeah, and I think that
Exactly. And they're welcome. I know that they're going to cover this next time, but at least for the digital collection, they're asking people that have original material that's not under copyright. If you want to donate it, you can get it out there as well.
Mm-hmm.
It's on my backlog for all of those. We've got 4 of those big, with the posts, family group sheets, the old legal size. And but there's a lot of histories that my husband's grandmother typed up that are just there. They're not shareable right now. So I know that scanning those is on my list of things to do to get them out there for anybody to have.
Mm-hmm. Well, you can
So
always
are
put
you
them on
saying,
memories.
Yep.
So like the book that my mama did called Our Roots Run Deep, which is not a published book, it's a family book, but it's full of all her and Aunt Mitty's research. Is that something that would be beneficial to anybody other than family? Other than
Yeah, I mean, it might be, because you think about it, depending on how many generations they went back, that family tree can branch out so far, and somebody may be stuck in a portion where you have the research that could help them break that barrier. It might very well be helpful to people. Now granted, they would be in your extended family, not your immediate family, but that can run into the thousands depending on how many generations back you go.
Mm-hmm.
Good question.
Okay. I know at the Roots Tech 3 years ago, I think it was, and I think before that, in the Roots Techs before that also, they had a whole little section where they had book scanners. People that were serving their missions doing book scanning, and you could bring in your personal books, and there at Roots Tech, and they would scan it for you while you waited. But I don't know how how they're doing that now that Roots Tech is digital.
Yeah.
But
I actually have Mama's book in a Word document, because that's what got me involved with your help was trying to update Mama's book. And
Mhm.
because she did it in 94 and a lot of people died and were born and stuff. But then I went down the rabbit hole, right? 'Cause that's what
Right. Easy to do.
So I could easily save it as a PDF,
Mhm.
but I don't know if anybody would be interested in it.
But as long as you have the copyright, that's something that you can donate
Mhm.
through the digital library. And, because the only thing that they require is that you are the copyright holder and you give permission for it to be public, or it's not, copyright doesn't apply or
Mhm.
has expired, and in which case they can accept it. But because they allow people to download and print it, that's why they have to be careful about copyright issues.
Yeah.
Rachel, how do you go about donating a copy? Do you know?
Yes, I do. So if you go to search and you search books, this is the Family Search Digital Library. You're going to dig deep into that in the next installment. But down here it says help the digital library grow, learn how to contribute. And you can click on that. And it talks about how to donate to the digital library. And
Did you
there's a
get
little
that?
video that talks about it too. But
Did you get that, Vivian?
Yes, sir. Very, very cool. Because
There
I've
you
been,
go.
I was,
there's the
I
chat.
was taken as I was looking at relatives, and I had interesting stories about them from Mama's book. I would add it to their stories,
Mhm.
and just say from I would put from Our Roots Run Deep by Margie Rowe. It's not a published document or anything like that. It's
Mhm.
just my flavor of love, if you will.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But do you think that's something that they would, I mean, I'll do that.
I'll answer that. Not just yes, but heck yes,
Mhm.
Okay.
because I've got a copy of that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's got some really good stories.
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
it's all part of just that, gathering that information so that people have it available. I remember now speaking, you can also donate physical books. So one of my roommates at BYU, her dad was a used bookstore buff. And he was in a used bookstore one day and he found a bound version of like Catholic parish records. It was all in Spanish, and he bought it and he donated it to the Family History Library because somebody could use that. Now it's one of those books that's in that catalog, but someday somebody's going to say, "Hey, I need church records from this place and I can't find them online." Well, then I need a physical copy of it.
Wow.
And so even if it blesses the life of one person, I think it's worth doing.
I'm going to tell you about a note I got in Family Search from my fourth cousin, who I don't know at all, but she said, this was in March. She said, I'm writing to thank you for posting the letters from my great-great-grandfather Asbury Singletary and one from my great-great-grandmother Rachel McLean Singletary. This was out of Aunt Mildred's stack of stuff that I was working through, along with photos of other relatives of ours. And reading them, I feel their humanity and the reality of their being. Never doubted it, but this brings them to life for me, even though they were generations before us. That's so cool.
Yeah, that is awesome.
And that, Vivian, is exactly why you need to get Margie's book to them.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to answer the question that came in the chat. Family Search welcomes the sharing of digital or physical books such as family histories, yearbooks, biographies, local histories, other genealogical books. And so I think the question was around newsletters or journal. And I would think that the answer is yes, because some of the things that we saw in the catalog search today are, newsletters and journals. So it's worth asking for sure.
Yeah.